All right, Shalom, Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elder bishops here at Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers that's pushing the work in truth with all sincerity. All right, name of this one is a Sedition update. Okay, and want to touch on a few things that's been happening as of late. You know, um, there's a constant uprising among the average day, you know, uh, everyday person. A lot of them are, hip to the corruption that's going on by their leaders, and they ultimately know, the plans of the elite, and this is going to drive a lot of people who to pretty much take things in their own hands, and that's what we've been seeing, and we know that not everybody, is going to, um, you know, be part of, I should say, the system, where things are being pretty much generated at the top, through order ab KO. You have a lot of lone wolf actors, and what I mean by that is, just the average everyday person, you know, who's fed up. But then you got, elite corruption where they generate crises to bring about certain um, agendas. Okay, um, but you got that dynamic, regular Joe Schmo who's just fed up, and then you got state corruption, you know, that does harm to the environment to bring about certain agendas. So you got both of those things going on, you know, and a lot of people pretty much, sympathize with this fellow, Luigi Mangione, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, a lot of people are in this spirit, they're pretty much tired of state corruption, and they want to hurt people, you know, and well, as of late, you had this guy Sam Altman. He's the guy who is with the open source. I believe he helped create Chat GPT, if I'm not mistaken. Well, he's a technocrat, okay, and he's much for the building of data centers and the technocratic takeover, which a lot of people, they it's very it's making a lot of people angry because these data centers that they're building, it's destroying some environments, especially where poor people live. Okay, and as of late, you have people attacking this guy, you know, his home rather, you know. So I mean, there's plenty of articles on there, but I believe this is the second time somebody tries to attack his home. And let me tell you something before I kind of get into this, because I wasn't gonna make this long. Just this is just an update. Um, these people attacking, lone wolfing, attacking, politicians, whether it be politicians or, I'll just say technocrats, because they are involved in politics now. They pretty much are. They pretty much are taking over. All right, but this is gonna spark a reaction, a response, and it ain't gonna be what these people like. It's gonna be even worse, you know, because they're gonna take this and already have been taking this into account as a threat, and they've been they known and have been dealing with the threat assessment, you know, before start things became as worse as they have, you know, and they got a few things up their sleeve, okay. Um, what Palantir, the thought crime and all of that type of stuff, kind of detaining people, that's coming. The control grid is coming. It's here, really, and this is going to lead to shutdowns, curfews, police state, you know, um, and they're going to round people up based on what people are, posting, and this is definitely going to bring about that type of environment, the police state, you know. So here, yeah, and these people ain't prepared for it. That was the point of that. All right. So who threw Molotov at Sam Altman's house warned AI will exterminate humankind. Now this could be you know again generated. These guys they like to play the victim as well to bring about agendas, but really it's neither here nor there. They're gonna bring in the control grid regardless. And people who are lone wolves acting on their by themselves, they ain't doing nothing but helping bring about the police state. you know so man who threw Molotov at Sam Altman's house warned AI will exterminate humankind, right? And this is one of those extreme talking points that they're going to demonize, okay? Because in their eyes, AI is being used to make the world better. All right, you be the judge, okay? We're just the watchmen. We ultimately know that all of this is gonna fall, all of it's gonna fail, okay? And this is definitely gonna bring more of a crackdown, but more sedition, okay? And it's gonna be war between, the different factions, you know, citizens, the government's gonna fail, uh, you know, militias, people are gonna be fighting, man. It's gonna get ugly, you know. And a good movie to watch, to kind of, show that type of environment is what was that? Civil Unrest. Is it called Civil Unrest? The movie that came out in 2025, I believe. But yeah, let's continue. All right. So yeah, so these people are provoking the monsters, but the scriptures say that the wicked, the poor is gonna rise. Job, what, 20 and 22. All right. But let's see here. I got a few scriptures, not much. Oh yeah, you also had what? You had those fires. Okay, you had those fires in California, and what people have started to realize is that though that's pretty much the public's retaliation, you know, against against major corporations. So as you can see, there's definitely a battle between the public and corporate entities. You know, really the rich or the poor versus the rich. Okay. So let's see here. Luke 21:9. Since I got it up here already. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. Right. So the commotions, right, and these are part of the commotions. All right. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Okay. Meaning it's not yet. So there's definitely going to be wars among the different factions of people. uprising against, authorities, which that's sedition, you know, detaining the government crackdown, detaining of its own citizens because the citizens are, displeased and they want to take matters into their own hands, so to speak. So the word here for commotions.
Strong's G 181, akatastasia, akatastasia.
And it says here, instability, a state of disorder, disturbance, confusion, right? And it points to what's pretty much unfolding now. But this is going to become more dangerous, all right? And it ain't just going to be happening in one state. When things fall, especially these people's comfort, they're actually at some point they're going to turn on each other, but there's going to be an all-out war between these different factions, and there's going to be more, more of a crackdown. All right, and they're going to be using the technology to pinpoint people, arrest people based on what they're posting, what they're liking. It's going to get really, really, tight around here. All right. So, right, commotions, right, and the scriptures plainly, you know, call it out and point it out, pinpoint it out, you know. So let's see here. We'll go Second Ezra. That's a good precept too. Ecclesiastes 12:3. You know, well, I can read it real quick. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, right? And those that look out of the windows be darkened, right? And so this is depicting a failed society. The keepers of the house, those that's keeping things together, the politicians, the governments, eventually they will fail. Okay, all right. Whether that's on purpose to bring in, a control system, control systems, or whatever, the scriptures say what it say. It says, "And the strong men shall bow themselves." Military, police, okay, and the grinders cease. And this is dealing with, work, you know, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, right? No help, no future, you know. Yeah, the scriptures clearly depict, these times that we're going to be living in, all right? And you can't escape it. The only way you're going to be able to escape it is, through the power himself that's actually bringing this, because the scriptures say he shall bring fanners to Babylon, all right? And the day of trouble they shall be against her round about, man, and in and out, in and within this place, all right? Jeremiah 51:2, it says, "And I will send unto Babylon fanners." Let's look this word up. Fanners, all right? It's a war. To be strange, be a stranger, become a strange, another stranger, foreigner, an enemy. So Fanner is an enemy, all right. But this could be dealing with just, World War III, you know. But when you look at there's instability of Babylon, even in World War III, as she's, trying to take over everybody. The scriptures say that she's going to be in straits, and that the wicked 22, Job 22, 20 and 22. Let me see something. Let's get Job 20 and 22 real quick. So 20 and 22, and it reads, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And the word for wicked is aimal, right? It doesn't mean an evil man, but it's dealing with the laborer, sufferer, wretched one. Hebrew word aimal, right? Toiling, right? So those that's toiling, okay, those are the workers. Those are the people that especially now, these are the ones that are angry for the things that's going on in this place, the corruption that, that they own, that the ones, the government or the powers that be are doing. Okay, so every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right, and that could be within. All right, so the Lord sending famines to Babylon. It could be dealing with just World War III. But in a while before World War III happens, there's a civil unrest, a civil breakdown of Babylon itself within itself. And correct me if I'm wrong. All right. And then the Lord says in Luke, all right. All this is, important. All right. Luke 12:49. I am come to send fire on the earth, right? Because it's the ultimate judgment, one of the last judgments. And he's going to burn Babylon with fire. And that's going to be via ICBM missiles coming from the nations that the Lord is, sending against Babylon, which is all the nations. All right. And what will I if it already be kindled? So he says, it basically says, in other words, he says he wish this was already happening, and if that it was happening more. All right. So you got, the people, showing their disapproval of the technocrats, and they understand what's at stake, what ultimately what these technocrats are doing. A lot of them understand what Nero, the one they voted in, is doing. And he came to lay the what do you call it, the grid for these technocrats. All right, for the takeover. Okay. So let's see here. 2 Timothy. Let's do 3. All right. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, and dangerous times. All right. All right. So dangerous times, and it goes into a list. All right. Of vices that these people are going to be pretty much influenced by. All right. Motivated. All right. So difficult times will come. All right. That's a one hitter. Second Ezra. Yeah. Slack it. Second Ezra 15, and I'm gonna jump straight to the point here. 15 and 16. All right. For there shall be sedition among men. All right. Invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. All right. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right. And that's what we're coming to. Okay. Sedition, insurrection, whatever you want to call it. Uh, the Bible depicts it. That's the future of this place, and we in that future. All right, this ain't gonna be happening 10, 20 years down the line. This is here, and as we can see, people are raising up, and there's gonna be war between the factions. All right, there's gonna be war between the everyday citizen and its own, government. Okay, and really, what's really gonna happen is what the government is going to make war against the people, you know. And in desperation and with people's backs being up against the wall, they, you know, they're going to react. All right. So, for there shall be sedition among men invading one another. All right. Also, the people are going to turn against each other because of the lack of resources. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, in the course of their action shall stand in their power. Excuse me. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, it's gonna be like that movie, Civil Unrest. I think it's called that. Civil War. I said Civil Unrest. It's gonna be exactly like this. All right. Because you have militias, militias who pretty much they're gonna be taking over, in a lot of places, the authorities they're gonna take over, you know. Yeah, so these things are just the start of more, more violence, and that violence is gonna lead to an all out, you know, insurrection in certain places, and it's gonna lead to mainly, you know, a government crackdown. All right. Yeah. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. All right. Until next time, I say shalom.